The Samudra Manthan, the churning of the cosmic ocean. It is one of the most legendary events in Hindu scripture, famous for yielding divine treasures, deadly poisons, and the ultimate nectar of immortality, Amrita. But how did we get here? Why would the Devas, the gods of the heavens, willingly ally themselves with their sworn enemies, the Asuras? The truth is, this wasn't an act of unity. It was an act of absolute, desperate survival. Today, we are going back to the beginning. We are going to explore the catastrophic mistake, the devastating curse, and the divine strategy that set the stage for the greatest churning the universe has ever seen. Before the treasures, poison, and the nectar of immortality, there was the fall. This is the prequel of the epic Samudra Manthan. The story begins not with a war, but with a simple, beautiful garland. While wandering the earth, the great and volatile sage Durvasa encountered a Vidyadhari, a celestial nymph. She carried a breathtaking garland woven from the flowers of the divine Santan tree, flowers that never wilted and possessed a heavenly fragrance. Enchanted by its divine aura, Durvasa asked for it, and the nymph respectfully offered it to the sage. Carrying this glowing symbol of Shri, auspiciousness, radiance, and prosperity, Durvasa soon crossed paths with Lord Indra, the king of the Devas. Indra was riding through the heavens on his glorious, white elephant, Airavat. At the height of his power, intoxicated by his own wealth and supremacy, Indra accepted the garland. But in his arrogance, he didn't wear it. He casually placed the divine gift onto the trunk of his elephant. Bothered by the overwhelming fragrance of the celestial flowers, the massive beast threw the garland to the ground and trampled it under its feet. To sage Durvasa, this was an unforgivable insult to the divine grace it represented. Enraged, the sage unleashed a devastating curse upon Indra. He decreed that just as Indra had cast the garland of prosperity to the ground, so too would his kingdom fall. He cursed Indra and the heavens to be entirely stripped of their Shri. Because of this curse, the greatest treasures of heaven, including the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, and yes, Indra's beloved elephant Airavat, lost their physical forms and dissolved into the cosmic ocean. The upcoming churning wasn't just a quest for immortality. It was a desperate rescue mission to get their lost treasures back. The curse took immediate effect. The three worlds lost their luster. The Devas became severely weakened, stripped of their power and energy. Seeing their opportunity, the Asuras, led by the powerful and righteous King Bali, launched a massive attack. The weakened Devas stood no chance, Swarg fell, and the Asuras took absolute control of the universe. Desperate, defeated, and homeless, the Devas sought the counsel of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu gave them a solution. To regain their lost treasures and achieve immortality, they needed to obtain Amrit, the divine nectar. And the only way to get it was by churning the Kshira Sagara, the cosmic ocean. But the Devas were too weak to do this alone. Vishnu instructed them to swallow their pride, approach King Bali, and propose a temporary truce. They were to ask the Asuras for help, promising them an equal share of the nectar. Driven by their own greed for immortality, the Asuras agreed to the truce. Now, they needed the tools for the ultimate cosmic event. A normal churning rod wouldn't work for an ocean. They uprooted the golden Mount Mandrachal to serve as the rod. However, the mountain was so incredibly heavy that it crushed many Devas and Asuras as they tried to move it. Seeing their struggle, Lord Vishnu intervened, sending his divine eagle, Garud, to carry the massive mountain and place it into the ocean. For the churning rope, they approached Vasuki, the massive king of the serpents. Vasuki agreed to be used as the rope, coiled around Mount Mandar, in exchange for a share of the nectar. But as soon as they began, disaster struck. Because it had no base, the heavy mountain began to sink into the bottomless depths of the cosmic waters. Once again, the preserver of the universe stepped in. Lord Vishnu incarnated as Kurma, a gigantic tortoise. He dove to the bottom of the ocean, placing his massive, indestructible shell beneath Mount Mandar. The mountain was finally stabilized, acting as the perfect pivot. The stage was completely set. But even in this divine alliance, ego played a role. Lord Vishnu subtly instructed the Devas to hold the head of the serpent, Vasuki. As predicted, the proud Asuras immediately objected. They believed it was beneath their dignity to hold the tail of an animal, demanding they hold the head instead. The Devas, acting on Vishnu's silent guidance, peacefully relented and moved to the tail. This was a brilliant tactical trap. As the churning progressed, the immense physical strain on Vasuki would cause the serpent to exhale toxic, fiery breaths, which the arrogant asuras were now standing directly in front of. The gods gripped the tail. The demons gripped the head. With a mighty heave, they pulled. Then the other side pulled back. The great Mount Mandar began to spin. The cosmic ocean of milk began to roar. The Samudra Manthan had officially begun. If you missed out on our previous video on the legendary race around the universe between Lord Ganesh and Lord Kartikeya, watch it right here. On Friday, explore the Arupadai Vidu, the 6 sacred abodes of Lord Murugan and the epic legends behind them.